Hello there, and welcome back to Palworld. Finally, we're back with a little bit of this. It's been a while. Been busy playing other things like Helldivers, but I'm finally back with Palworld, which is a pretty chill and enjoyable game. So we are going to be continuing this series, at least for the foreseeable future. So far we've been focusing on leveling up, building a base, and also getting started with breeding. But what I'm thinking we might do today is do something a little bit different, and that is to start challenging the Syndicate Towers, start dealing with some of these bosses that we haven't actually fought before. I think that could be good. And also just kind of exploring the map a little bit, getting some of these dark areas, well, not so dark anymore. So that's generally the idea behind today. We're going to be doing some boss fights. We're going to be, of course, trying to capture the bosses that we can. We also have a visitor heading towards the base. I would assume this is the merchant. We can find said merchant, but it'll probably show up within a reasonable time, I hope. But yeah, we probably also should finish the build of this because right now it's basically very, very bare bones. But honestly, it should be fine. If we get raided, we are going to suffer. But I think it is okay. So for the time being, we're going to go ahead and make some gigaspheres because we kind of need to. Oh, that's the wrong pal. We need them to capture high level pals, so we're going to go ahead and get them made. And as I said, we'll be focusing a little bit on basically just fighting some bosses and just having a little bit more of a chill day. I have also gone ahead and made one change to the eggs here because we have been spending a lot of time just waiting for the eggs to hatch, and I don't feel like staying AFK for hours just to get the eggs into a hatchable state. So we could make hatch rooms that would speed things up, but I've gone ahead in the settings and cut the egg hatching times down in half. That is gonna speed things up slightly, as you can imagine. But yeah, we could also make particular rooms for hatching, but right now I don't think that's gonna be a big issue. But yeah, with that now made, we have Anubis, we have Tide, we have some other pals with us, so I think we're ready to just do a little bit of fighting, particularly at the lower level should go by fairly quick. But I just want to, before we do that, head to the mining base and have a look at just how much food they have. Looks like they're still good for a little while. Not too much ore have been farmed, which isn't a big deal. And also take a stop here by the breeding base to see what we're doing. Currently, we do have some inventory, but yeah, we have the cellarays, which we are breeding to make a worker base. Basically, a cellary that has all of the good work perks like artisan, work slave, serious, basically any of the work perks we can get, as well as a cellary that has the movement perks, so that we can then breed them into Anubises for both movement and for working. So yeah, that's gonna be a bit of a longer process. But yeah, I think we're ready to just get started with the first Syndicate Tower. I don't see anything really stopping us. We have actually been putting this out off for quite a while. So let's go and see how quickly we delete this boss, because that is basically what's going to happen here. We are most likely just going to end up deleting the boss because of, well, level difference. So let us join the boss battle. And I might be able to solo this with my gun, but we'll have to see what we do. I think we'll just leave it to Anubis. Anubis is a ground type after all. And that should solve all of our issues quite neatly, I do feel. So if I remember correctly, this is Grisbolt and Zoe. Bit of a flashbang there. Yeah. We might also take a look a trip to the islands today and see if we can actually capture Grisbolt, because you can make you can breed some pretty decent palette combinations with that. That is the wrong lad. How much damage did this do? 2k. Okay. Not bad. 2.2. What if we hit Zoe? We missed. Yeah, so she's 2k as well. But yeah, as you can see, this is a pretty simple and easy way to get this done. Anubis is barely taking damage. Would of course go quicker if we had the rocket launcher or a better gun, but I don't think it's too worrisome. And there we go. Our first tower boss. There's some ancient tech points, which honestly I don't think we really need. I think we have a lot of them already, unless I'm mistaken. We did get tossed out, and we have 6 tech points. We could get the grappling gun, which honestly I don't mind too much, but the hip lantern here is actually something that's really, really nice to have. So the way that this thing works, if you haven't actually unlocked it, is that it doesn't take up any slots in your inventory. It just means that if you go into a dark cave, you will have a light source. In the night, you will light up. So if you don't like that, it could be annoying. But generally, it's just automatic light. Getting a large feedback would be good as well. The spear launcher, Lily Spear. I think we're fine for now, honestly. Okay, let's head over to the next target, which is probably somewhere around here, if I remember. But I think we're just going to keep on working our way through most of these bosses. We'll go get the Mamorest, we'll get King Paka, and as I said, basically we'll be working our way through as many of these as we can today before I get tired. So let's see how this goes. Let's jump to the next one. So one of the problems that we might have while trying to capture some of these is that they might not have enough HP for us, but it looks like King Paka is fine. Pretty sturdy against my gun. Didn't think it would be that sturdy, to be fair. But yeah, dude's pretty good. So let's just get rid of these Melpakas. They are kind of in the way. A little bit of lag there. And he's actually doing a pretty good number on Phalaris, so maybe I underestimated this King Paka just ever so slightly. I want to see what he does with Anubis. Anubis at least does a little bit of damage. Actually does decent damage. And he actually stopped that move mid-air. That was actually kind of neat. Let's see, let him do one more attack, then we'll call him back. See, 50% catch rate isn't too bad. Some Sparkus over there. Yeah, that is King Paka. Boss kill gives ancient tech points, which is basically what we're here for. Also because, again, it is a bit of a completionist run. So capturing King Pakas, which is our new pals, and is also a benefit of that. Next up, we're actually going to just head directly to the Mamorest. So let's see if that is going to be a bit more of a close fight. It is also, the secondary reason why we're doing this is actually to level the pals, because we are getting to a point where raids could, as I said, be extremely detrimental. So if we don't have pals of a sufficient level to kind of withstand that, we are going to be in trouble. So I would like to have pals that are kind of powerful enough to, you know, be a bit of a support. And also, while we're on that note, we could of course go and try and capture some of the legendary pals. We are lacking a little bit in pal space really to do that. We'd like to get at least one high tier, but we could of course try and head over there and see if we can capture one basically by pure luck. It would be somewhat viable, because if you toss a ball at the back of a pal, you usually have at least a very, very small chance of catching it. It might be less than 1%, but if we do it 100 times, we might actually get one. So we could try that, try and maybe fight a legendary pal by the end of this to just see how we stack up. We are going to have to, as I mentioned, just level these pals a little bit before that. So we're going to allow Ignis here to have a chance to fight this Mamorest. Not doing a ton of damage, but with Ignis as a tank, we should be fine. Just make sure we dodge this. And at this range, it isn't actually that difficult to dodge. Ignis, I need you to... I need you to take aggro, my boy. There we go. Game is struggling slightly here, which is worrisome. Ignis! Help! To be fair though, we probably are going to need to also make more ammunition if we're going to fight anything that is a bit of a higher level. And also, as I mentioned, we definitely do need to level up our pals a bit before we go. Okay, I think that is where we call him back. You might actually burn to that if I'm not careful. Just 6% capture rate, so that kind of tells you where we're at. I think we're going to try and use one of the hyperspheres that we have. We might actually need to level up a little bit more to get better spheres, but we got that one, so that was fine. That Mammoris has also been captured, and I think we're just going to continue with Univolt, Lunaris, and Broncherry. Before we do that, I want to have a quick look at our technology and just check what is necessary for us to get the next tier of sphere, which would be the purple ones. Can I make red ones? Have I just not made the... Can make ultra spheres. Okay, let's see what we have. We have hyperspheres and then ultras, I assume. So I probably haven't built... We're actually a little bit behind on technology then. As said, it's been a little bit since last I played, so what we'll probably need to do here is build the sphere assembly line, the upgraded one, I assume. Sphere assembly line 2. So we're gonna need to get circuit boards, fine ingots, and ultra spheres. Honestly, we'll do a little bit of pausing and capturing, and I'll go and have a look at what we need to get that done. And also, we don't have a lot of metal, so we might need to farm a little bit of ore too before we get back on track, because I would like to have better pal spheres to just make things a little bit easier in the long run. So for now, do a little bit of farming, check what we have back at base, and then we will get back underway with our, well, capturing tour. And Phalaris decided that that Chickpea was very, very dangerous and needed to be eliminated. But yeah, let's just head back to base quick and see what we have in terms of production facility, because I assume this is just a tier 1 sphere assembly line. Yeah, hypersphere is the best thing we can make. So we are going to go ahead and make some of the other things that we need, which is going to be the circuit boards. So we're going to go ahead and get some polymers, which we can get from high quality Palworld. And high quality Palworld we can either buy, or we can go ahead and farm it. So we're going to need about 20 of that. We're also going to need some refined ingots, some nails. So I'm going to go ahead and get this made. Pal oil. Financially, we could just go and buy it. We're going to need, what was that? 10. Let me just double check here. 2 polymers. Each polymer is 2 oil, so 4 times 10, 40 oil. I think they sell it for 300 each. And I have thermal undershirts. I'm going to need heat armor. Well, I do have heat resistant metal armor, but what I'm thinking we do here is actually we head over to the desert area. There's a merchant over there that actually sells pal oil, so we're going to go ahead and buy the oil. We'll make the ingots, and I think that should be just fine for our intents and purposes. So let's just head over there quick, and we'll see what we find. So we have arrived in the desert area. My main concern is our heat protection. I think it is high enough. It should be. And it does indeed look like it isn't. So we might actually die here because we probably aren't going to be able to get over this wall in time. But we're going to have to go and buy some more heat protective gear. Because as you can see, we need full heat protection to go to the area we want to. I could try and approach it from the sea, but even then we're going to get fried because as you can see our health there. We lost 400 hit points in less than 10 seconds. So we're going to head back to some of the other merchants, see if we can find ourselves a... over the small settlement here. See if we can find ourselves a heat shirt. And if we can't, we might just have to make better armor. But I think it's going to be sorted. We'll see. We actually ran into Sweeper here on the way, so I'm thinking that we are going to try and capture him. I'm not going to use the gun here because, well, it's a lower level pal, so using the gun could be very detrimental. Keep in mind that these guys can quickly overwhelm you, kind of what you're seeing with me here. Because of their numbers, all those tiny ones do have kind of aimbot. So I'm actually struggling with getting my gun here reloaded. just because of all of the projectiles. I think we're gonna have to just call in a little bit of help here. That's not the one that I want to catch. I want to catch the big one. But honestly, catching these small ones isn't terrible either. So, as fine as you can see, we do need 2 more sweeps for our purposes. So, while I'm using probably a little bit overkill here in terms of the foul spheres that I am using, I think it's going to be fine. We need more of them. And later on, we're going to be swimming in metal anyways. So it's going to be okay. But yeah, for now, we're going to head back to our initial plan and try and get that shirt that I was looking for. There is actually a wandering merchant right here, so let's see what he has for sale. I did break my legs there also by dropping down from a little bit too high up. Do you have heat protection? You do not. And I believe this guy has basically the same inventory as the other one. So we might just need to get a little bit of a better heat resistance gear. And currently I just can't remember exactly where would be a good place to find it, which is unsurprisingly a bit problematic. Now Lunaris and everyone else, we're gonna wait a little bit before we fight. As I said, I do want to go and get the other spears before we do that, because again, yellows only have about 6%. We can catch so many other pals, so we might as well go with the upgraded ones before we catch anything that's over level 30. But yeah, I am going to search through the merchants and see if we can find some more heat protection like the shirts we're wearing. If not, we're probably just going to do a lap where we check all 3 of the sanctuaries, because they usually spawn chests that have item in them. And if we don't, if that doesn't work, we are just going to have to go and do a few dungeons. And as you can see, yeah, I wasn't wrong. This guy had the exact same inventory as the other one. Now, I do know that there is a merchant somewhere around here, I think. No, it's over here. So let's check him before we kind of, as I said, go to the sanctuaries and see what we find there. But yeah, there is a merchant on the island over here. We haven't really explored it much because we've been focused on just kind of leveling, power leveling to some degree. And since we're here, why not take the opportunity to check if we can enhance our power? We can't yet. We need 10 more of the lift monk effigies to get that done. Okay, a little bit more to the right here. So the merchant, if I'm not mistaken, should be... I might be misremembering, but I believe he's right below us here somewhere. There he is. Both the Pal Merchant and the Wandering One. And this time, I did not break any legs, so that is a benefit. But yeah, this guy too also has the same inventory. I know there is a merchant that sells heat-resistant gear, but I'm afraid that the guy that sells heat-resistant gear is the same guy that also sells Palworld, or he's in the same settlement. So we're going to take this opportunity to just go through all 3 of the sanctuaries again. This one down here, this one up here, this one up here. And we'll see if we find any pals that we want to capture. That is number 1. But number 2, we're going to be trying to also get our hands on, as I said, heat-resistant undershirt, or yeah, basically that's it. Because they do spawn on those islands, so there's nothing bad about checking them out, basically, on each respawn. It can actually be very, very beneficial. But yeah, I'll head over here, and then we'll see what we find. Alright, so as you can see, the chests, they haven't actually respawned. I haven't actually looted them. They just has not respawned yet. We also don't see any Gristbolts, just Pankings, and 8th is Terra. So we're gonna head back. I know there is a merchant that sells this shirt, and there is a merchant settlement right here, but I know there's also a merchant settlement in the desert, and it would make sense that they are selling the shirt that we are looking for. So let's head over there and take a look. I do know that it's kind of hilarious that what we actually wanted here was just pal oil, and as a side note here, we just ended up, and this side quest has basically just ended up sending us across the map. But we're going to go and check just to be on the safe side. And honestly, we need to head there at the one point anyways. So might as well do it now when it might benefit us. So I'm going to head over to the desert village and I'll be showing you where it is. I think we have enough heat resistance for the northern desert. We could also just wait until it's night, make night armor, cold armor, and that could work too because, well, deserts get very cold at night. They are very hot during the day, and then they get incredibly cold during the night because there's no way to really retain that heat if there's no more heat being added. But we're actually safe for this area, just barely. Some Susakus, which are actually nice, some Rayhounds. But what we're going to be after here is, as mentioned, the village. And I'm actually flying the completely wrong way. As you can see, my sense of direction in this game is actually pretty bad. I do have a tendency to just set off in any direction just because it looks interesting. Okay, let's see. I believe the village is here somewhere on my left. There we go. It was a little bit further than I expected, hence why I messed up so bad. There's also a bunch of cold nodes here. So if we end up in a situation where we manually need to farm resources, it would be a terrible idea. We also found a handgun schematic that was actually a lock chest. And I'm also going to go ahead here and pick up any eggs that we find because they could be, well, containing some pretty good pals. Robin quills tend to be aggressive, and these guys are too, so we're just going to nab that and get out of here. But my greed compels me, and I also want this egg. It's a huge scorching egg. And generally, huge scorching eggs in this area do contain Susakus, so there's nothing inherently bad about picking them up. And that's kind of why I do advise you to get at least the hatching farms early on, get a good pal that has high speed. Because then you can actually just go to the different biomes, find these huge eggs, and as a result, you'll be able to get pals fairly early that you should have access to, kind of in the same way as breeding, but just with a slightly less amount of effort, I guess you could say. But okay, we are going to head over to the city. I'm going to collect as many of these chests on the way as we can because they do contain money. Metal helm schematics. So we're also finding some pretty good schematics here. It's a shame that they're just the green ones, but a schematic is a schematic. And also, another reason why this desert is a nice place is because it's very easy to see things on the ground. But the fact that we've actually found 3 lock chests already is kind of interesting. Is this also going to be a lock one? Nope. So yeah, you can zoom around with either a ground pal or a flyer and farm out a large amount of stuff. And unfortunately, our Polaris is hungry now. So we probably should go ahead and feed it something. Let's see, we did get a bunch of bread. Let's go ahead and... Well, I fed everything except what I wanted to feed that, but we do have the feeding bank, so they'll eat it anyways. But there should be, as I mentioned, a merchant here, and as you can see, as it's turning night, we are getting closer to... we're getting closer... Well, it's getting less hot. Is the best way to probably word it. I don't know what I'm trying to say. This guy actually sells high quality Palworld, so... Yes, he's not selling exactly what I was hoping for, but he's selling what we need. And I believe we have 5, so let's just buy 35. We could also buy some skill fruits, some tomato and lettuce, ice organs. But yeah, basically, I ended up here. And there we go. We do actually have the undershirts here too, as well as pelt armor. We could also straight up buy rifle ammo if we wanted to. So if I buy 100, for instance, it would be 22,000. But I think we're just gonna make it ourselves. Save the money for something else. Marcus Dryden's diary? I was about to say dairy, like as if it was making cheese. But yeah, the desert here did actually have what we needed. Both versions of what we needed. Could pick up a dig toys, but I think again we're just gonna save our money for now. I am a hoarder in games, basically. I like to have a buffer. And very rarely do I actually end up using that buffer, so it's kind of pointless in that regard. But whenever I end up using that buffer, it feels very good to have it, so it's just me being a little bit silly. But we're going to head back to base. We're going to go ahead and get that upgraded spear maker made. We are going to need to get some refined ingots for that. But I don't think that's going to be too much of a problem. Might as well go ahead and make 20 polymers, because that's what we're going to need for the circuit boards. So I'm going to get that done, and go ahead and empty a little bit of the inventory, because it is getting quite full of stuff that we don't really need. And we have been farming musarines, so that's why we have a bunch of meat. I'll sort this some other time. Just going to go up and chuck the eggs in, and then I'm going to go back to the farm, collect ore, turn that ore into ingots, and then we can work from there. So I'm going to go ahead and get that. That was a waste. It did make for nice fireworks. I'm going to go ahead and get this spare assembly line made, and then we'll take it from there. So we've gone ahead here, and we've actually gotten the, well, the new bench here, so to speak. It has been finished, and with that we can now make hyperspheres, but also ultraspheres, and these are the ones that we are going to be making, which cause palladium fragments, refined ingots, carbon fiber, and cement. Now, carbon fiber is pretty simple to make. It's just straight up coal. You go to production bench, you turn coal into carbon fiber. Cement is stone, bones, and power fluids, so both of those are fairly easy to come by. But palladium fragments and the refined ingots are going to be the bottlenecks for our usage of ultraspheres. So we're going to try and avoid using too many of them, and we're probably still going to be making hyperspheres with what regular ingots we have. Let's be perfectly honest, but we will also be making as many ultraspheres as we can. And potentially here we might have to go and do some manual mining just to speed up progress a bit. But with the red spheres, with the ultra spheres, I think we should be fine now to go back to just hunting some bosses. We'll also try and do some more tower bosses. But generally, I don't think we are to worry too much. 17 is a little bit too few of the ultra spheres, I feel. But it's also arguably a good start. We have very little rifle ammo though, so I want to try and get some more of that made. But refined ingots, one of them turns into 5 ammo. So for the time being, I think I'm gonna relent from shooting too much and leave most of it in the hands of the pals, and that should hopefully allow us to, well, save a little bit the little ammo we have left. But yeah, ultraspheres are being made. As you can see, this one here, which is a tier 2 automatic or electric bench, looks very much nicer. It's a bit bigger than the basic ones, so more pals can work in them together. Yeah, we now have the ultraspheres, which have an extra 6 capture power compared to the hyperspheres, and 12 compared to the gigaspheres. So that should make it a lot easier to capture pals in the 30 to 40 range. That's kind of going to be the goal behind this. I'm going to leave this space open for silver keys that we can hopefully be able to get back in the future. But yeah, I would like to make some bullets, but I think we're very limited on that in terms of the refined ingots. But we're going to go ahead and make as many as we can. Okay. You decided to do something else than what I wanted from you, but that's fine. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get these made. Then we'll head back and get started on hunting bosses again. And again, we're doing this for 2 reasons. Completion, but also to have something different to do, because we have been focusing a little bit too much, I feel, on just basic progress, leveling, things like that. We are level 41 though, so we are getting very close to the end, but even then it's still going to take a while longer. So what I'm thinking here is that we're going to head directly to Univault, Lunaris, Broncherry, then we'll just work our way up here. Fenglope is actually going to be quite a nice addition, because it's one of the fastest ground pals you can get. So Fenglope would be a pretty significant addition to our squad, and Lunaris is also a pal that can do handiwork and a bunch of other things. We'll have a look at the strengths and weaknesses of each pal. I think at the end of this session, once we are basically ready to ready to call it quits for today. Is there any pal in there that we want to release? I believe that is a ground pal. Could of course go in there to release him, but I think we're just gonna go, as I said, directly into the realm here with Lunaris. So, Secret Sealed Realm of the Esoteric, I believe it's called. We are going to go ahead and enter said dungeon. And we're just going to get started immediately. So, we're not doing a lot of damage. She does a lot of damage. That is a little bit worrying. I'm going to use the Hypersphere first, see how that pans out. But yeah, we're going to have to make sure that we are ready to dodge. Because we could take a lot of damage fairly quick here. Now, honestly, at this range, being the tank is kind of beneficial to... It's kind of be beneficial for us to be the tank. As Anubis is still doing a decent chunk of damage. It's not all bad. But I need Anubis to actually do damage instead of just watching. Did he miss because she floats? I think that's what just happened. That did seem to be what just happened. Come on, one more attack. Not on me. Armor is also damaged, so we're going to have to go back and repair that at one point. Just going to call Anubis back here. Let's try the red one. 15%, 33%. That's acceptable. Oh. I need to try and not miss the tosses though, because that's straight up a waste of resources. And it's also always kind of dangerous to try and capture these guys, because they'll do attacks when they get released. Those attacks can be pretty bad. But the pillars here are really, really good for just protecting yourself, if you will. But yeah, that was Lunaris. That was pretty straightforward. Unfortunately, brittle. But the Ancient Civ parts is huge. That's generally the main reason why I'm here. Did I just take damage coming out? Looked like we were stumbling. But yeah, before we go and deal with the next target, we're going to go back home and repair our equipment after Valerius decimates this Gummers. So yeah, gonna go head back, get the equipment repaired, and then we'll head to the next target. Our armor has been repaired, and our next target is in front of us here, level 23 Bruncherry, which should be fairly easy to deal with in my honest opinion, but it is a boss that we haven't fought yet. And for those of you curious, I'm still using a common shield. Apparently, I guess I stepped on a mine. I'm still using a common shield because basically shield gating is mostly what I'm doing with it. But yeah, our boy there is taking a little bit of damage, and we did kind of toss out Jormungandr as a bit of a shield. But it should be able to deal with this Bruncherry in swift succession. That did a lot of damage. I do hate the Windblade because I feel like that is kind of hard to dodge. So I need my shield to regenerate here pretty quick. And you can kind of see the mine there, just how much damage it actually does to the pals. And why it is kind of dangerous to mess with, if you will. So the green one is probably not the best one. We're going to be using yellows for this. And again, I'm just going to try and keep my distance and try and avoid getting hit with a Windblade if the Bruncherry does in fact get out of the spear again. But this time we did get it. That is good. We also got some meat, some Dragonstone. But yeah, the second reason why this is so good is because we also get entrails, Dragonstones. We do end up getting a lot of money, so we might actually end up using this money to just buy bullets. We'll have to see though. But for now, next target, the Univault. And then I think we're going to go ahead and do a couple more tower bosses, because unfortunately I don't have too much game time today. So we're going to do a couple of tower bosses, and I think that's going to have to be it. And then maybe we'll continue hunting bosses next time around, because it is enjoyable to do so. It's a little bit chill. And are you guys fighting each other here? Oh, there's mercs fighting the thugs, I see. Well, we'll just leave them to their devices. Or do we want to help the mercs? The mercs help themselves by the looks of things. I jump off, I'm kind of scared that Phalaris here is just gonna, yep, try and kill them immediately. Well, the Kativa became the victim, but yeah. Thanks for the help. Yes, I was so helpful when I was looking at the incident from above. Is that actually a fruit? A skill fruit? Yeah, looks like it. Poison Blast. But yeah, let us head to the Univolt, who is basically an open boss. There are better ways of capturing Univolts, like lower level ones, so it's not a terribly good idea. We might actually be able to make the Mamorests get involved here as well, which, if both of them target us, that would be a terrible thing. But if both of them target the Univolt, that wouldn't be too bad. See what we can do. So Phalaris is taking a lot of damage because fly versus electric, which is a terrible idea. And I'm about to get lasered here, by the looks of things. But we can dodge. And I would love for Anubis here to do something instead of just looking. There we go. That was a terrible shot. Okay, we're getting closer. I think we're just going to call back Anubis here to be on the safe side. Do it like that. And we're going to have to go up a tier here to the blue ones. I am also kind of scared that I'm going to get absolutely charged to smithereens, if you will. But we did end up getting Univolt there, so again, as long as you keep on dodging, you'll be fine. Unfortunately for us, we actually have a full PAL box. It's called a Parbo box now, apparently. But yeah, we are gonna have to open up some space either by combining PALs or selling them. I do know that there was a PAL merchant not too far from here, by the river. So what I'm thinking is that we go and negotiate with him. We sell a PAL, then we go and pick back up that Univolt because we do kind of want to keep him. And as I said, I think that is kind of unfortunately it for today. But we are going to do a couple more tower bosses. And there are, I believe, 5 of them total. So do 2 more today. Do the last 2 maybe tomorrow. But that's just how things are going to have to be. So let us see what you have. We're going to be selling something. I don't know exactly what we have. But the bronze cherry here, as you can see, that's good for planting. The Lunaris can do handiwork at level 3, carrying and harvesting. Paka can do harvesting basically. Amores, planting, mining, woodwork, level 2. It's actually a pretty good one. Sweeper, level 2, harvesting, and cooling work. But what I think we're going to sell here is just the sweepers. And also any of the, well, these guys that don't have any good perks. But as you can see, we do actually have quite a collection. So, because we have captured 10 of everything, we are going to have to sell something. Particularly the Cellerace we kind of want to keep for the time being. But selling anything here that doesn't have good perks would be beneficial, but going through this entire list is going to take a while. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and sell some of them that we probably aren't going to be combining. So while basically Woolly Pops could be good because they do create cotton candy, I don't think they're going to be pals that we are going to be too sad about if we need to go, say, farm them again, if we do end up wanting to take advantage of that cotton candy ability. I do find it hilarious just how aggressive Phalaris actually is. But we did get some resources out of that. I feel like since the last time I played that they've turned up the aggression, because usually you could jump on the pals without too much of a problem, and now I'm actually struggling to get that done in time. But yeah, we are gonna go and pick up the orb over here, which should be again pretty simple and straightforward. Then I shall pick up 2 towers for us to kind of try and fight. And I'm fine with it just decimating the syndicate thugs, honestly. But the 2 towers that I think we're going to fight are the 2 towers that we actually know the location of currently. Which is, well, the rain one we already did. We do know the location of the Free Pal Alliance tower. We could try that one. I believe that is Lily. And we also know the PIDF tower. So we're going to give those 2 a bit of a go and see if we can pull that off. Might be that we end up failing, honestly, because we are still not very high leveled. I don't remember exactly the level of those two towers, hence I think the desert one might be a little bit too high. But I think this one over here is doable, so we're gonna give that one a bit of a go. And it is actually cold enough here because it's night that we are gonna turn into we're gonna turn pretty much dead. Let's put it like that. So I think what I'm gonna do is have a look at where the other towers are while we wait for daytime. We're definitely gonna be challenging the Free Power Lines tower, but I'm a little bit uncertain if we want to do the PIDF as well. So I'll have a look and then we'll see what we do. So luckily enough, the desert with the PIDF tower isn't actually, well, cold enough that we get in trouble, but it's still fairly cold. So I think we're just going to try this one instead, while we wait for daytime. Again, the pals might be slightly under level. We don't really have the optimal traits, but I still think this would be okay to give a go. Is this a guy that actually has a Polaris? I believe so. So we're going to be fighting one of my favorite pals. Yeah, I do like Polaris a lot for movement. It's just very nice to have until you can get Dragoon. So yeah, Marcus and Polaris. Let's see how this goes. Okay. I believe that you can actually kind of cheese this guy a little bit by just playing with pillars. But the fact that I'm doing 200 damage and he has, well, as much health as he does is a bit of a problem. We might not actually be able to fight him within the time here. We might need to come back a little bit later. Particularly since our pals have trouble reaching him. That's actually the #1 problem here. Did the Diahal just try and hit me? Ow. I got so distracted by what Diahal did there that I kind of lost the plot for a second. The same move there, the Univolf did. But yeah, we've done less than 1,000 damage already, so we might need to get some better pals with this, and I'm dead. Probably a little bit too early for us to fight the Polaris. We do need something that can actually hit it in the air. So I think we're going to go for that other tower. I'm probably a little bit too hopeful. This is actually new, that they tell you the pal population and resource amount. That's interesting. But yeah, we're just going to head back to base. We're going to wait for day, and then we're going to fight Lily. And this is a bit problematic. I'm cold. We're going to have to head back to probably a bit of a safer area, so to speak. I can go and get my stuff. It should be outside. So I'm going to gamble and going over there and picking it up before I freeze to death. Yeah, that was a little bit unfortunate. So go ahead and take everything. There we go. Back to not freezing to death. That was a bit of a humbling experience, honestly. Yeah. Did a bit more damage than maybe I expected. We probably need to level up to probably around 40 for our pals to do that. 150-ish thousand health. We did 200 a shot. Means that we would need to do, basically, if we want to do that ourselves, not really 1,000 shots, but more like 700. So didn't even have enough ammo for that. We would definitely need the pals to do most of the work. But yeah, it shouldn't be long now until we get daylight. I think I'll do a lap to the different islands to have a look and see if chests have respawned while I wait for day to bloom. And then we'll do that other tower, and probably also keep on hunting a bit of the other pals here. But let's be fair, we can always just take things a little bit slower, level up, get some more skill fruits because we haven't really taken advantage of them. Get pals with better traits, with better IVs to make the fights a little bit easier. But yeah, particularly for Marcus and Polaris, we're probably going to need a pal that is a flying type just to keep up with that other flyer. because Anubis didn't really hit anything, and even Direwolf was struggling to get something done. So that does pose a bit of a problem. Unsurprisingly, criminal activity is underway, so I assume they've patched then the fact that you could just fly over the islands and it didn't count as criminal activity. That's actually a Blazamut that isn't the boss, so we might as well go ahead and try and capture that. It's level 45 though. And let's face it, if we die over here, that's going to be painful. But I think it's worth it to give this a go, because again, it is kind of a rare pal. Was a missed shot. 35 damage. It's gonna... I got scared there for a second. Oh, it still hit me? That's worrisome. Am I actually gonna burn to death here? I think I am. Oh, that was very unfortunate because I didn't actually see what hit me there. I thought the iron node took the brunt of the damage, but clearly I was wrong. And now the question is just, can we actually fly back and retrieve the gear here before we burn? And by the looks of things, like we're losing 3 HP a tick. I think so, but yeah, that was yeah, we're losing a little bit more now, more like 10. 40 seconds? Can we make it over there in 40 seconds? Might be that we need to heal before we go. But we shall see. To also recharge a little bit here, so let's recharge and then get flying again. I think we can just barely make it here. That was close. 8 seconds to go. Yeah, the chest is not respawned. Place might despawn as well. But yeah, that attack really threw me for a loop. There is a new one down there though, but I think we're gonna have to wait to heal. It's also low level 1 at 40, so I think we're actually gonna sit here. We're gonna heal, and then we're gonna try and fight it again. And hopefully this time I won't get deleted by an attack that I just could not dodge in time. So let's see if we can get that done. So I'm thinking of trying to be a bit cheeky and stay up on this legend fight while I let my pals kind of try and deal with the blaze mud. So let's see if we can get that done. We're not back to full HP by a long shot, but I have a hope that we can get this pal captured. And Awhile has engaged. We're actually doing decent damage. Let's not get flamethrowered if we can avoid it. And that is the attack that did damage earlier. Looks like it didn't go through this time around. I think we call him back, and then we shoot you in the tail. Let's see, 40% is not bad. Okay, that went a lot smoother than the first time around. So yeah, Flame Emperor is also a very good perk to pick up for Flame Pals. So that's the secondary reason why when we find a, not really fully rare, but at least a semi-rare on these islands, so we kind of do want to take advantage and try and capture them. I don't think there's anything else here that we would like to try and capture before we leave, so I think we're ready to go. And unfortunately, the chests haven't respawned. We would like to capture a Fenglobe, don't get me wrong, but there is a much easier level 25 boss that we can go and hunt instead that would make getting a Fenglobe a little bit easier, and we wouldn't be wasting as many pal spheres either. Particularly now in the situation where we don't have a lot of them. We have like 60, 70 gigas, but only 10 hypers and 16 ultras, so gigas just are not going to do the job there. We're going to have to use the ultras, and well, when I have an easier way to get a Fenglobe, might as well take advantage of that. But yeah, I think we're going to end this up then by trying to fight Lily. Again. Well, not again. Fight Lily, which should be over here by the Free Alliance Pal Tower entrance. And since it's daytime, we're not freezing this time around. We're actually fine. I believe this is a silver key chest, which is a key that we do not have. Gonna have to go and bully some pals for that. The gold key can be farmed from the merchant, the black marketeer, but he does not drop the silver key, unfortunately. And we also found a verdant egg, so it's all good. Let's give this boss fight a go, see if this goes better than the previous one. I think it will do. Lylene is a grand pal. That should make things a little bit easier. Then we have Lily and her spear. Okay, let's see if we can get some better done here. So, Lylene is unsurprisingly Earth Element, so fire is going to work very well. We also do 700 a shot here, which is going to be a little bit more than we did earlier. So hopefully we can get this done, and I think we will, if I can just hit my shots, which is a little bit too much to ask of me, to be honest. Something got sent flying there, and I thought for a second it was Phalaris, but yeah, doing a good job right now. Those bubbles can be very dangerous, let's put it like that. Yeomentide, your turn. So just rotating pals can be a very good way to get them a little bit healed back up, keep the fight going. But I need Yeomentide to actually do something this time around, because now I'm getting into trouble. That's the problem with big pals, they struggle with targeting. And oftentimes they'll just be kind of turned into a spectator, which is not good when you kind of hope that they're going to be doing most of the damage and also do the tanking to some degree. So far it's going well. We've done almost, well, we've done a little bit over 20k, a third of the way there. So it's not too shabby. I am running out of ammo though, so I need to actually be a little bit more careful with my shots. I think that actually hit Yeomentide, which is why we didn't get any damage. And that ball attack is kind of difficult to dodge because it does track you through everything. Okay, time to switch you out so you can get a little bit of healing done. Anubis is still doing damage though, like 600, while being the kind of wrong element. It's not bad. That was a terrible shot. I have no idea how I didn't take damage there, but I'll take it. You gonna spit at me? Yeah. Let's give Ektu a chance. He's just moving too much for Anubis. He got decimated, so Awhile, it's your turn again. I got hit by a water ball, that's not good. Yeah, a lot of these boss fights are just control, but you're also limited with time. So Marcus and Phalaris would have been a lot harder, simply due to the fact we just don't have enough damage to really deal with them. But this is going a lot better already, and Phalaris is ready to get back. But yeah, switching pals is also one of those times that you can get deleted if you don't have the high level shields or aren't high enough level. You kind of saw it there when we switched into Phalaris. I almost died from the attack. So it is a little bit risky. Yeah, I think we're happy with this. 15k left. More seeds. The fact that those bubbles go through terrain, though, is kind of scary. And we're out of bullets. Time to bring out the crossbow. Tide, your turn again. Probably should have removed every electric ability that he had before this and just made sure he only used fire attacks. That probably would have made him a bit more effective. I'm really scared of those seeds because I don't even want to know just how much damage they would do to me if they hit. So hence we are making sure that we completely dodge out of any sort of attack range that they have. Okay, it should just be one more. And there we go. Not too shabby. Should have brought a bit more ammo though, I'll be fair. And we do not want to look up the skirt. But yeah, there we go. I think that is going to be it for today though. As I said, been a while since we played, so I'm kind of just getting back into it. But I'm still enjoying Palworld immensely, so it is going to be popping up on the channel. I'm still just I'm not sure how much, because again, there is a bunch of new games that have come out. Palworld is a little bit on the back burner due to that, but I am still playing it. I'm still enjoying it. But you should probably expect to see a little bit more in the coming weeks, I would hope. So thank you very much for watching. Hope you have enjoyed, even though this was more just us running around hunting some bosses. It is something that we are going to have to do if we want to try and get a 100% completion, so to speak. But we could probably have leveled up a little bit more before we did so. And I think we are going to level up more before we go back to the Desert Tower. We also have the, well, tower over there, probably the hardest one, as well as the tower over there, the volcano one. So I believe actually in terms of difficulty, this is actually the second easiest tower. Then we have the third one, or the third tower you're supposed to do. Then we have the fourth one, and then the fifth one. So we're actually kind of doing them in order, but we might need to, as I said, just level up a little bit for Marcus. And we can actually see the mining base over there. The cellars are not rendering in properly. You can actually also see the attacks as well, so that's working out nicely. But again, thank you for watching. Hope you've enjoyed, and I hope to see you around next time. Bye bye.